Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive pop with Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance blog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Poppy.
Rules?
There are no rules.
What rules?
This is a revolution, damn it!
You'll hear things you've never heard before.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
Who are those guys?
And then there's the other guys.
We're the other guys. We're the guys nobody ever bets on.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
It's time for the Other Alliance Guys podcast with your hosts, Tim, Dave, and Jeremy.
And we're not in the stream because we're a professional podcast, and that's how it goes, right, Dave? Here's what I have to say for the beginning of this show. Because I screwed it up already.
Well, it can only get better.
Well, from your mouth to someone's ears. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. What can we tell you? We are 2/3 of the Other Alliance Guys, a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name's Tim. This is Dave. How's your Wednesday, my friend?
It's going as good as a Wednesday can go.
That's good to hear. Jeremy will be along presently. He is just currently indispensed. That's what I should have done with that joke, given what I'm seeing in the chat. But anyway, got a few people in the chat already here. Good to see you guys. Willie Bowen letting us know Rolando Freeman was evicted from a daycare center, probably for being too tall compared to Eric Smalls. I'm going to face palm. We'll talk about why are we doing this again. It's the same thing all over again. But anyway. Yeah, Jeremy had to drop out. He will be back shortly. Look, Media Mike is saying, remove the no rules mentioning since he can't curse as much. You can curse all you want, man. It's just, as an adult, you have to live with the consequences. Noob is here. Hey, Noob. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. I feel like I missed somebody right off the bat, but if I did, I apologize. Anyway, we're here. Jeremy will be here in a few minutes, and let's. What are we talking about, Scoob? We're talking about a bunch of things. We'll talk about what's coming up, like we always do, the good stuff for the NWA, just for a moment, and then, I want to touch on the Discord server. Hey, Fuzzy's here. Hey, Fuzzy, how are you, my friend? And Rosville is here, listening at work. Appreciate it, buddy. We'll just mention real quick about the Alliance Awards that are going to be coming out onto, I don't know exactly what Jay's going to put in, but it will be on our Discord server where you can vote for the all NWA awards that the ever growing, and I mean that sincerely, Alliance family are going to put out. We do that every year. We'll talk about the NWA on the CW because I have questions. Yep. Many questions, Dave, about Paranoia and what a signature live event is now. And a couple of other things that I'm seeing online. We'll talk about Kobe and Bobby Fish, and and the one I picked up just for Willie Bowen, Rekka Tahaka is a free agent, and whether or not we should pick her up. But that's just all of our roundtable stuff off the bat. I want to talk to you guys about what we've learned about the Hall of Fame and what the NWA has told us. And we'll do some highlights, lowlights on Power. Jeremy's got a fulsome look at the UWN and the return card on January 14th, return to TV of David Marquez and Productions and the show that's going to be coming out of California. And then Dave, as always, anchors the show where he's going to talk about, I didn't word it well when I wrote it down, but what ought to happen basically with the TV titles, both of them, and Big Strong Mims and Max the Impaler from Dave's point of view as our resident fantasy booker. So let's talk about right off the top, 6 minutes in, 8 minutes in. The good stuff. I always like to start positively, Dave. And just getting to the backgrounds here, the overlays rather. Here we go. We got Paranoia, as we mentioned, an NWA signature live event, which I don't think has ever properly been explained to us by the NWA what a signature live event is, but it's happening this coming weekend from Fort Lauderdale. Just as an aside, I visited Fort Lauderdale. I spent a week there one night. Apologies if you're from Fort Lauderdale. Really, I'm very sorry if you're from Fort Lauderdale. You ever been there, Dave?
Can't say I have.
Yeah, you'd remember.
Yeah.
Or you distinctly would have cut that piece of memory out of your mind. They got matches on that thing that are going down. They got EC3 headlining with a defense of the 10 pounds gold. In the ultimate match of death, we don't know what that is, against, of course, the Deathmatch King, Matt Cardona. We've got Max the Impaler and Mims, as we mentioned, going title versus title. There must be a winner over the television titles. That's probably the most talked about two out of the rest of them. And then real quick, the Immortals against the Slime Balls, who picked the U.S. Tag Team title match or titles as what they wanted out of their Battle Royale victory. Murdoch's and the Southern Six for no particular reason, but that should still be pretty good. Tom Latimer versus Brian Idol, moving right along. Talos and Daisy Kill versus the New Spectaculars. See what happens there. Miserably Faithful versus the Kids. I'm interested in seeing the Kids, I guess. And Magic Jake versus Alex Misery, who wasn't too bad in his opening match. We're going to talk about the signature live event in just a second, but just to get through the upcoming good stuff, as we mention every week, we got CCW and NWA will also be taping Viva Revolution on the same day as the signature live event, and TV tapings the following day right down there in Tampa, Florida. And then finally, as we mentioned, Crossfire Wrestling, the Page Sisters promotion, off the hook in late January with some NWA talent on that one. So all positive stuff that we like to remind you guys of. I wanted to wait till Jeremy was here to talk about Paranoia and what we're seeing on the Discords and all that great stuff, Dave. But
okay, no problem.
Maybe we'll just give him a minute. Let's go into something. I think let's see if Willie's commented on it. No, he hasn't. Rekka Tahaka, who is probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years into her wrestling career, maybe a bit more. And, you know, hey, I mean, she gets a lot of indie kind of press because of, you know, the way she looks. But I don't think especially polished from anyone's point of view. She's a free agent. She's no longer working with WOW. You know who she is. You know what she's about. An American Samoan wrestler. I don't think related to any of the current or past crop. Yeah, Rekka and Hawk. What? Rekka Tahaka. I have actually a picture of her. I put on here. There's one right there. She's a independent wrestler. She's free now. Dave, should the NWA MLW, even like UWN, if she's a step down there, as I kind of suspect, maybe, well, they're all the same level. MLW might be a little bit higher. Excuse me. Impact, someone like that. Should they be picking her up?
Well, it's one of these things that if she left on her own, that's fine. But anytime somebody leaves or suddenly disappears, you have to question. But it's one of these things. I mean, NWA seems to be the island of broken toys. That I'd say at least 60 to 70% of the people that have come to the NWA have worked out.
Right.
And it's one of these things that there's wrestlers that are now under masks, but they're still working in the NWA. That the mask has resurrected their career almost. So it's one of these things of maybe bring her in for a taping and have her do a dark match to see how things go. And if she's willing to play ball, I mean, let's see what happens. The NWA always needs some good female wrestlers. And it doesn't mean that, oh, she's signed to a 6-figure contract. No, we bring her in. If things work out, that's fine. If not, there's been several ladies that have come in, worked a pay-per-view and a taping, and then we haven't seen them again. So it's one of these things that the NWA has their main core roster, and then they rotate. So
right.
if things work out, bring her in, test her out. If things work out, that's cool. If not, so long, farewell. I mean, nobody remembers the big 6'8" giant that was in Chicago because he didn't make it.
Right. He had one showing and
things didn't work out. Move on.
Yeah. But you'd give her a shot.
I mean, we don't know the story behind why she's no longer with WOW.
Right. We've heard some stuff, but yeah.
And I mean, you can always hear some stuff, but unless you are actually quote unquote in the room or on that person's shoulder, you don't know what really happened.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to quote unquote forgive and forget and let them start over and see what happens. That, I mean, a lot of the time when wrestlers go to a new organization, they're tested and they don't win their first match or their first couple matches just to see what their temperament is.
Right.
So if she's willing to play ball and the NWA can play ball, I mean, it's one of these things. We can always use somebody for a set of tapings or for a signature live event.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're on the roster. You're just part of NWA for that taping or for that event.
Yeah. I mean, she's got the look clearly. And, you know, by all accounts, I've only seen her wrestle once. It was fine. But by all accounts, she's got a lot of work to do. You've got guys in the NWA, you know, behind the scenes and right at the ring level who can help teach that.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you can have a sit down, exactly what you said, have a significant talk with these people and say, this is what maybe we've heard went wrong, and this is what we'd be looking for you, you know?
Well, I mean, we now have 2 territories. So either send her to Exodus Pro and let EC3 deal with her and see what he has to say, or send her to Joe Kazana Promotions.
Yeah.
Either of those guys aren't going to take any crap off of anybody. That you're basically working for them when you go to their territory.
Right.
And I mean, I believe Billy would lean into hearing what those guys would have to say rather than taking a chance of putting her on TV or having her on a taped event or a live event and not sure what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, so I guess we'll see. I think she'd be someone they should, to your almost exact words, they should talk to, because I think there's opportunity for both parties there. Let's just go and start talking about, because I want to get to some people that I haven't been ignoring, but just trying to time it properly, some of this stuff. Actually, well, Noob first, what do you think about OVW and the Nightmare Rumble? I think Layla Gray won that particular event, but I think it's good for her to be branching out, doing other places. But I think that Markova continues to have a good relationship with the NWA. I think she's bound for the Burke. At some point, just keep going, and I think she'll get there. It's impossible to say from a business standpoint if she'll end up doing more or less NWA or OVW. I don't know. But we were talking about when we're waiting for Jeremy here, but the NWA is headed to the CW. Well, they're on the CW. They added matches a month ago, and then it went silent. I'm told. I don't get the CW, the app, or the channel in Canada, which I'll also mention in a second. But Kyle Davis, our friend Lamb, who I think watches this later, this name is an inside joke for Lamb. He mentioned that Kyle Davis had said we're looking. We have the NWA doing fresh shows appearing on the CW February 6th, and that will be this Paranoia NWA live event taping is what I got out of it. And I continue, and I feel like I should know, but I also don't feel like anybody entirely knows what the hell a signature live event is. Is this an event? I thought, again, not being able to get it, that you could sign on to the CW and watch it this weekend. Now it's a taping, and you won't see anything for a month. Any new shows for a month. What happens to Power? A lot of questions. What do you know, Dave?
Well, I'm not really sure how they're going to do it, because when you do tapings, you have continuity. And even though the NWA isn't always on point with continuity, if you can keep some storylines going, just give me some good wrestling.
Yeah.
You have Paranoia, then you have Viva La Revolution. So you're talking a good 4 to 5 hours of wrestling right there. So that's at least, if they clean things up, that's at least 4 shows. So that's the next month if they choose to show those, or if they start those on February 6th, they also have tapings on that Sunday. So they can tape enough for 3 or 4 shows of just keeping storyline going of the undercard. It doesn't have to be full-blown title defenses. It can be, hey, we have so-and-so going against so-and-so for a chance at the women's title.
Right.
We have this, we have this. They can piece together enough for the next month that they have these tapings. So you're talking anywhere from 6 to 8, maybe 9 hours of total taping. When you take all of that out, time-wise, if they whittle it down to 45 minutes or so, that's at least 7 weeks of shows, maybe 8 if they highlight. So that's for the next 2 months. Well, after that, I mean, if they're doing starting on the 6th, that's only 2-3 weeks.
I mean, we normally would have been coming out of this Robarts taping that we've been watching and going into a pay-per-view. It's supposed to be hard times, I think, right now. which is now in February, for this Paranoia event. I feel stupid because I don't know what the hell it is we're talking about, and I don't think anyone else does.
It's one of these things of, I don't know if you watch WoW at all.
I do not.
Okay, they're storyline driven, but they just tell their stories on TV and that's it. They have tapings every 2 to 3 months. They set up what's going to happen, and they don't have a pay-per-view. So it's one of these things that if the NWA decides not to have any quote-unquote pay-per-views or premium live events or whatever, it's one of these things of they can choose to, okay, we're going to have Crockett Cup because that really doesn't have to have a storyline. That's dealing with tag teams and the Crockett Cup itself. Right. Then have their anniversary show where they have all the title holders defend their titles, and they can build up to that storyline wise, and also have your territorial champions highlighted at the anniversary show.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be 2 days. Each of them could be 1 day if they push it right, or it could be 2 days depending on how they have it. Where if they defend it on the first night of the anniversary show and they win, that's fine. But then there's also a contenders match for the next night.
Yeah, I think that would be ideal. Yeah.
So it's one of these things that I could see the NWA just doing 2 major pay-per-views that they choose to either show on, whether it be Fight or the Premium Wrestling Network, which EC3 is their champion, so he has some dealings with them. So it's one of those, it's pick and choose.
Well,
with not doing all these pay-per-views and not getting, I think why they're backing off the pay-per-views is they're getting a decent house, but they're not getting a good buy rate.
Right. You hear stories about how poor Sawin was.
Yeah, 230.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if that number's. We don't know. I don't think anyone has said, "Hey, here's the source." But I think you're probably right. But like Matthew Underwood has pinpointed the question of the hour. Are signature live events now in place of pay-per-views, as you suggest might happen, Dave, or is everything else on tape delay? As in the Crockett Cup and the anniversary show will be tape delayed and on the CW?
Well, I'm hoping that they do it live on pay-per-view, those 2 events, but then show highlights.
Yeah.
Highlight show the next
1
or 2 episodes can be highlights where you don't have to show the full match. You show what happened, you give enough storyline, and you push what the storyline is going forward out of those pay-per-views.
Yeah.
That at Crockett Cup, we have such and such team is the new Crockett Cup winners. They'll be going against, if it's Blunt Force Trauma for the belts, if it's Murnoch's, if they have the belts, whatever. But you figure out what's going on, and you just make everything storyline driven, and it doesn't have to be a pay-per-view. I'd be happy with 1 or 2 a year if that's the way they're going to go. I just want good wrestling. Right.
And back to our friend Matthew's point. It's difficult to not have spoilers. The only thing missing out of EC3 versus Jax freaking Dane was the fact that it happened several weeks ago now. And do you think we wouldn't know if Jax Dane was the world's heavyweight champion? Like you need to have these things in a live environment. Here's the tweet from Kyle Davis. I got this from Lamb. follow CWFH fan news on Twitter. Kyle Davis saying here's the tweet from, I guess this is today, saying that those asking about NWA Paranoia airing, this will also be the start of those episodes. Also, I'm throwing this in for, people like our buddies Fee out there, in the British Isles, and guys like me and Lamb and Doty. Here's a fellow asking any info on the fans outside the NWA. And Mr. Davis says, still working on options. Hope to have more information to come soon for our non-North American fans. Well, I'm in North America, Kyle. By the way, I think you're great, but I'm in North America and I don't have an option. Canada's part of North America. And then, this individual, Jordy, saying, well, I hope to hear from you soon. Otherwise, you're going to lose us. You're going to lose us as fans. A VPN, I think, is probably what's going to have to be an option for Fiona and Doty and myself to fool our TVs into believing that we're inside the United States. But it seems like a major step back if we're not being told what's going to happen. We're not being told how we're going to watch it. What am I supposed to do?
It's one of these things that Billy is a businessman. He's a rock star, and now he's dabbling in wrestling. He needs to look at wrestling like he looks at being a rock star. What would happen if, Smashing Pumpkins, we can't distribute outside the United States?
Right.
You can go have tours down in Mexico, but unless somebody's been up to Texas or up in California and heard your music over the border, they have no clue who you are.
Yeah.
So it's these things that he needs to start looking at the business of NWA as a worldwide business.
Chris Flackett, I think, is in England.
Yep.
Fiona's in Scotland. Doty's in Indonesia. Lamb's in Germany. I'm in Canada. We know we have people that fans for the NWA they picked up in Mexico. I mean, listen, I love the United States, man, but I want to watch the product. But you're not only not making it available, you're not telling me how I can get around the problem that you created. So it's very frustrating for me right now. I guess we're kind of caught up on comments. We don't know. We don't know if the signature live event, maybe Jay can shed some light on this by tomorrow. We're kind of hearing things in the Discord as we were going on the air. So hopefully we're not too far behind. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something fun. Colby Carino and Bobby Fish are sparring on Twitter right now. That's cool. What do you think about that potential matchup?
I mean, if they can make it work out, whether it's in a NWA ring or another ring, as long as the belt is being defended, this is one of those things that whenever you have a champion defending their belt, the NWA needs to start just videotaping. And I know that sounds odd, but have somebody there with a camera or a phone or some kind of device to video these events.
Yeah.
You don't have to show the whole match. Show the entrance, show them in the ring, show a couple highlights, and show me who won.
Right.
1.5 to 2 minutes, highlight these. You have all these champions, and we don't know unless the organization that is putting on the event puts out that video. They should be sharing it with the NWA because an NWA champion is being represented and defending their belt there. So it's one of those things of just give us highlights.
I agree. Like, it doesn't have to be even, studio quality stuff, although obviously that's what you want to present. But you can present 10 seconds. EC3 is coming. No, not this weekend, next weekend, 30 minutes from my house. He's going to a London, Ontario show, defending the 10 pounds of gold against someone from Greektown Wrestling. I'm probably going to take my daughter and go over and see that. But like even 10 seconds of the finish of that match 2 weeks after it happens, if it were to air somewhere, would be great, So I couldn't agree more. Colby and Bobby Fish is an interesting thing. I just saw before we came on the air, Colby said, I don't back down from anybody, buddy. If you want to cut weight and make the limit, come on over and take your shot at the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship. So that's going to be that'll be cool. I hope that organically happens in the way that Barrett Brown and Colby or Kerry Morton, excuse me, kind of did, right? Ooh, Nick Saban of Alabama is retiring. Just came across my phone. I'm not sure how that's a national-wide worthy news story, but anyway, roll tide. So what else? We got the I mentioned at the top, the Alliance Awards, the Discord, which is super active, so much so that like if you roll up to it at noon, you'll see that little banner at the top that says there have been like 76 new messages since 9 a.m. this morning. It's like, it's very active. Jay is taking awards, I think one a day for Outstanding Wrestler of the Year. We've gone through for nominations, not to actually pick for male, for female. He'll do tag team. I think he's going to do match of the year, maybe feud of the year, certainly tag team of the year, maybe faction and manager, that type of thing, right? The link to the Discord is in the doobly-doo, as they say on YouTube. So you can click on it right in there and go and join. It's a very fun place. Most of the people in this chat are here. Sorry, what are you sorry for? I don't understand. You must have made a pick that I'm going to sneer at. I doubt it though. You and I think very alike, Fuzzy. So go to the. I just want to mention, go to the Discord. I'll try to get in there and maybe put it into the chat, the link there. But you can just go into YouTube and click on it. So rather than copy and paste it from me, that's kind of what's good. What's you're 74. I see of the 90 Discord messages. Yeah, that's okay. I don't mind. Tim, Discord is good till I appear. Hey, it's fairly uncensored, man. This is like a place for you. There's even a channel called Safe Space where you can say whatever you want. Nobody can say shit. You'd be good there, Mike. Matthew Underwood also very, very active in the Discord. So what do you mean I ran you off? I don't even remember. I don't remember you being in there. Get back in there. So check it out. That's a good place to be. All right. I want to talk to you about the Hall of Fame, not the regular, hey, do the whole, Hall of Fame thing. I want to give you an actual update on the NWA Hall of Fame restoration stuff. It's a very quick backstory. We made a petition. I should start putting that in the doobly-doo, but that's it there to go and sign it. I got like 50 signatures and said, I don't know if this is the way I want to do it, but I definitely want to keep it active. And then got on a very serious roll January 1st with a very positive, I should say, I didn't mean serious, but a positive roll saying, NWA, we love you. We love your product. Thank you. You are the people who are keeping history, tradition, legacy alive. That is the basis of the foundation for what you represent in a new way in the new modern era. We want you to restore the Hall of Fame. And although I'd started this, I think probably November or something, I just started getting into it, time allowing, in January. I started posting about it, getting a lot of likes and retweets and all of that great dopamine causing stuff. And the NWA has responded in a fashion. Joe Galley said to me, we don't run that. Go talk to the people who do, which gave me some pause. Right. You're going like this. So I asked, great, thanks so much for responding. Again, love the product. Who would that be? And he said Kyle Davis may be able to tell you who that is. So I haven't seen Kyle respond yet, but I'm sure he's a busy man. And again, this is all positive. It's not me ragging on the NWA with you guys behind me. We're not holding placards and picketing outside the virtual office of the NWA here. But in talking to J-Cal and talking to Big Chris Dog, it seemed to be that the NWA gave the Hall of Fame to a group that, in fact, J-Cal and Chris Drummond were amongst the voters for back years ago. But since the purchase of the NWA by Lightning One, by Mr. Corrigan, there hasn't been any inductees. So it's kind of, I don't want to go through the whole argument or everything we're talking about in the background, but the bottom line is, if someone else runs the NWA and Hall of Fame, and Billy has bought the NWA, he's either A, now own the Hall of Fame, or B, not own the Hall of Fame and is free to start his own. Call it the Hall of Legends if for some reason you can't call it the Hall of Fame.
Lightning One Hall of Legends.
Perfect. I'm all about it. And, one of these options exists. And the answer, I think, where we are right now is nobody runs the Hall of Fame. There isn't a group who runs the Hall of Fame right now at all. So I think that if you continue to follow my lead in the days to come, tomorrow probably I'll start again. I like to throw out a cheeky little tweet. Cough. Barry Windham's not in the NWA Hall of Fame. Who wants to help us out to make that happen? We want to encourage the NWA to, thanks for letting us know that you don't run it. Now that we have determined that nobody runs it, let's either make a new one because you don't know the name, or let's take it back over and start reinducting people into it.
Yeah.
And let's just make it happen. What is this, Tim? We should make a virtual march for the Hall of Fame. That's right. I shouldn't. I'd love to vote on it. I honestly didn't want to get into this part of it, and I won't too far. But you're going to say something, Dave?
Yeah, I was just thinking, we're already Alliance Wrestling, and it's the National Wrestling Alliance. So why not be the Alliance Wrestling National Hall of Fame?
If you don't want to, yeah, we could do our own. Or, I shouldn't probably get into it really at this point. I'm just looking for a restoration or a creation. If the NWA goes, let's do it. But hey, I'd be happy to kick around the idea down the road that the Alliance helps with the Hall of Fame. If they want a third-party group that's going to be around for a long, long time, we grow dramatically every week. We're in that weird algorithm juggernaut, large ball of mass, that gravitational pull. It's getting big. Maybe we can help out on that front, but that's not what this is about. We just want to get it running. So I'm glad we have some initial traction, even if we don't run it, figure it out and go from there. It's a start for where we are. Okay, I'll shut up about that now, and keep you guys updated as to where we are. Let's talk about power, Scoob. We had just some of the highlights and lowlights. The other Alliance guys, we're the other Alliance guys. The Alliance guys, the OGs, the professionals at this, who are on tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, they run down power, and we've been kind of focusing on some of their power stuff just to steal some of their content, like the thieves that we are. But just to touch base on some of the stuff that we liked and maybe didn't like. That's very kind of you, Matthew. Thank you very much. we'll get to that down the road with the Hall of Fame. I've been kind of liking for Power these opening promos that are black and white, usually in slow motion. Scoob, where they'll say like it'll be Joe Galley whose voice is almost perfect for it for whatever reason. I don't know. It's like the 10 pounds of gold, the veritable scepter of professional wrestling greatness, and they're good on one level, and on another level, I kind of go, do they really pair well with professional wrestling? I love, professional wrestling, and I love when stuff is well written, but I don't think often that some of these things match. I don't know. It's just a small thing for me. Was the promo good for you, or was it overwritten? What did you think?
I mean, this is one of those things that this is the preface before you get into the actual wrestling match. So it's telling you what to expect, what's coming up. In my eyes, it's good, but to me, it's almost like a minute commercial for what's coming up. That this should be out on social media the day before. Hey, are you looking forward to Power tomorrow? Here's what we've got. Boom. It tells somewhat of a story of at least one of the main matches. Mm-hmm. So you have this, and then they can tag it at the very end. Also in action, Wrestler A versus Wrestler B. We've got a triple threat match, and we've got this.
Right.
But it's one of those things that it's good, but like you say, sometimes it doesn't seem to really fit what they're going after. It's done well, but it's two different things. It's organic and too produced. I'd rather just have the commentators tell the story by telling the story.
It's hey Jeremy, welcome. It's good to see you, my friend. It's like, there are sports that you can dress up for, right? You can go to the Kentucky Derby and you'll see all the women in their beautiful dresses and fantastic hats. But I don't know that, the flowery written, and slow motion production value about, the greatest tag team of the Lightning One. I'm making it up, but like of the Lightning One era, blunt force trauma with your megalomaniac manager Aaron Stevens, or this isn't one. I'm just trying to give you an example. I don't know that it pairs with everything, and like the Brothers of Funstruction or one that was just like, why would you do it this way? But Fuzzy is the benchmark, I think, of being a fan. So if they're awesome and aspirational, I think it works. What did you think of the opening promo, Jeremy, for Power?
I enjoyed it.
You did?
Yeah. It was pretty good. I overall I enjoyed the episode as a whole.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Although, the first match, Kylie versus Kylie Page versus Ruthie J and Missa Kate by herself has to defend the women's world tag team titles. And Danny Deals was saying, because he's sort of a funny heel commentator, saying, I think that this is a ridiculous rule. As a fan for completely different reasons, so do I.
Yeah.
It means you're also no one, and the crowd was super tired. I don't know if it was just late in the tapings or what. Mike liked the promo, thought it was better than the main event, by the way. And Fuzzy points out that if the production values increase in the matches and to be the same in those promos, that's WWE level work. Yeah, good. I'm glad to be wrong. I don't want to read too much into it. I just thought for this, Jeremy, that like Kylie was pretty decent in the match. But I thought for the storyline that she should be, because she spends a lot of time, doing the shtick that you would expect Pretty Empowered to do, walking around, jabber, John at the crowd. But I would have thought she would have come into this. It would have been more impactful to me if she had taken a more desperate, like, oh geez, kind of, tone to the match. Like she did less of that. And like, I got to face two ladies, both of who are talented. One of these ladies is Miss Kate, by the way, awesome kick fillet. From the angle of the camera. Oh shit. Damn, son.
Yeah.
Look good.
She sold it fucking fantastic.
She did.
I was impressed with the kick and with her sell. Overall, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. Fuzzy beat me to it. Danny spends half the commentary pointing out the actual smarky flaws I'm often pointing out in my head, which is distracting, I find, from a commentator. But, I don't hate it in a way as well. Did you guys like the match?
Yeah.
Was it the right ending, Dave?
I mean, it's one of these things that Pretty Empowered by any means necessary wins.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that when you go 2-on-1, it sort of makes the other team, even though they aren't a quote unquote team that has been together for 6 months, a year, whatever, they've wrestled each other and they've wrestled with each other, but it sort of drops them down a notch in my eyes, seeing that they lost, even though it was by any means necessary. It was by an outside assist by Kenzie, but then you have to build them up again.
Right.
So it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. They could have easily done a DQ finish and it would have saved everybody.
Yeah. I did like the match transition into the next one.
Yeah.
With, with Miss Star coming out. And again, we're not doing results, but just like high spots for me were a low spot here, by the way. Why are you putting an ad in the middle of the match for your event when you own the show? If this was a type of programming where you got to sell sponsor time and it's going to happen in the middle of a match like it will in most television productions, great. Like, hey, stay tuned, we're coming right back. And then here's McDonald's, right? For 15 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever, and then you're back. This is the NWA saying, don't go away, and then putting an NWA ad in the middle of the match as I go, I'm already watching your product.
Yep.
It's like when you go to the theater and they're like, ooh, don't forget about going to your theater. What the hell? Like, I'm already here. Don't waste my time. I saw that. It just kind of takes me right out of it. Fuzzy is going to rip respectfully what's left of your hair out, Fuzzy, because I think you're the one who hates the fact that she does Miss Star that, I don't know what to call it, that leg bulldog thing where she grabs someone by the head, flips over and smashes their face into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did that thing. I don't know, slaps are dumb. Some of them look good. I will say as a highlight, the shots that Samantha Starr was throwing in at the beginning of the match looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Like she looked like she was putting some stank on them.
Yeah. I see her improving some, but I don't know, something about her, it just isn't clicking with me. And I mean, she's had this chance and she loses. So now what?
Yeah, I know. What do you do with her at that point?
I mean, Chelsea's there. Do they go the tag team route? And Chelsea ends up taking a couple losses and they end up breaking up. I don't know. It's one of those things that you can only give so many of the wrestlers a shot at the title, but then you have to build them up somehow.
Yeah. That's true. Again, I don't know what to actually do about it. A tag team with Chelsea, Jeremy. Chelsea, to me, this is incredibly deep Lord of the Rings cut that no one will know. But she is Rog the gate-mouthed rock troll for me. I am waiting for the bugs to fly out of her mouth when she just stands there like the foul mouth looking. I don't know. I can't, like, what am I looking at here? Why is this? Actually, Chelsea just put it, or Matthew just put it on TV. She's not ready for TV, or I'm all screwed up. Matthew put it in the comments. Chelsea's not ready for TV. She is Mum Ra, the ever living. Anyway, I don't know why she's on. I will say one thing as a highlight for this match, guys. When Kenzie sold the ankle, I fucking bought it.
Did you?
Huh?
Did you?
For the first 10 seconds, the way she did it, where she went back and she fell over, and she was not acting brilliant. Thank you. It wasn't that. It was like she was. You could see her go oh, something's gone wrong. And I went, oh shit, did she screw her ankle up? For about 15, 20 seconds, dude, I bought it completely.
Now, I will agree with you there. She did good. You know who didn't do good? The ref. The ref didn't sell it.
Yeah, I would agree.
He was right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I was instantly just like, come on, man. I even told my son, I was like, I wish I could be a ref for one match where somebody wanted to do that spot, because I'd tell them before the match started. I'd do one of those Mills Lane things, All right, we're going to come in here. We're going to have a good, clean fight. If you fake an injury, I ain't going to sell it for you.
Right. Yeah, Dunstan dumbfounded and blank-faced. Retro's here. Hey, Retro. Chelsea's fairly new. Great. That means
she
inside
is.
Her 90 days, we can cut her.
Super green.
Yeah, there's nothing there. I mean, come on. Anyway, Star did great finding the camera, but she needs better cardio. It's like her pace is off. I sometimes see her beside Kenzie and Kylie, and I think she looks like an athlete because they're so small.
Yeah. And
I know that means that they're going to be more agile. Maybe their cardio is better, but I think she actually looks better than when she's with someone like Kelsey. Not like a, heavy, like a heavyweight, but she looks like a real sized, athlete in the ring.
Yeah.
I still think there's something to Samantha Starr, but to you guys' point, I don't know what to do with her.
The heel character we've said this before, the heel character doesn't fit her. She's a baby face.
Yeah.
But what she needs is the reps.
She does. You know what you'd need to make her a heel? You'd need someone like Jake. And I'm not saying Jake now, but like Jake even 10 years ago or 5 years ago. But for someone to come in to be like whispering in her ear, someone with that, the snake in the garden, just take that bite, and have her go, to tempt Chelsea God, I'm saying Chelsea. Ms. Starr. Yeah.
She needs a Machiavelli.
What's that?
She needs a Machiavelli.
Yeah, she needs a villain to kind of lead her down the particular path, I think. But there you go. What do we got here? Kenzie's lost a lot of weight. She's mega serious. Star doesn't seem so much. She's content. That's the issue. It's funny. At 75, I saw her walking with Camille and Camille's dog, like the night before they went down. She needs Raven, Tim. That would be good because Raven's he's doing stuff with MLW every now and then. There's a group there for Raven that he's never really part of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to like Star, but she's NWA by blood, but her wrestling. Yeah. Yes, but slow punches, slower reversals. That's what sunk Genocide for me. Yeah, there's something in these ladies, but Matthew Underwood said something about not liking 90% of I think that's what it was of ladies wrestling, and that's I kind of agree. Sometimes there's some great talents that just need to develop, and we're probably watching the company that's going to help them do that about the best. I don't want to go into every promo, but if Tom Latimer's going heel, I just want to say bring it on, please, because I love Tom as a heel, and I don't like him as a face.
No.
He's so much better as whatever, like the king of all evil, or when he's a piece of crap, I'm all about Tom Latimer. Okay, listen, I don't want to talk about Knox and Murdoch versus the Country Gentlemen. Other than two things. One, Mike Knox shouldn't be doing a nope spot on anybody. That was Samoa Joe all the way. Stop it. Don't do it. Aldis did it, and I yelled about it then. And Eric Smalls, fuck off. I don't want to see this shit again. Dave, what do you think?
All I can say is why. I mean,
was Rolando busy?
I mean, if it's going to add fuel to the fire for them to finally win against Blunt Force Trauma, and it was Aaron Stevens' ploy, I'm all for it. But I don't need to see anything else with Mr. Smalls at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it when Knox just crushed him. I'm like, okay, you played your part. Pin me, pay me, bye.
Welcome, Scott B. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Jeremy, did you feel differently?
Oh God, no. Not at all. Look, I like a good little person wrestling match. I'm not above watching what was the MWL, was it? Midget Wrestling League?
There was an NWA World Midget Championship back in the day. You would be surprised on how old that title is, how long it lasted.
Whenever I was a kid growing up, across the street from the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in downtown Evansville, there was a car wash. And there was a little person that worked the car wash. And he was at the end of the line. And he got in there and vacuumed out your floorboards.
Right.
My mom went through this car wash every week. I got to know that little guy. So I that's why I like watching midget wrestling. Because he was a guy that wrestled across the street at the Coliseum also. So I got to see him there as well. And so I like that stuff, but not in this I like midget wrestling. Two little people together wrestling. I don't want to see a big guy against a little person like that.
Yeah, man. Like, while that title wasn't actually very active, it did exist, and I do not remember the precise year when the NWA finally killed it, but I'm going to say 2000. Like, it was recently in the grand scope of things. They finally went, no, that's not a thing anymore. Yeah, I don't need this. I think Fuzzy said in our Discord, like, the best spot for him would be probably with Aaron Stevens as like a comedy sidekick. I don't. 2009 Retro says so. for when that title was killed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but I don't actually agree. I think they'd be a hilarious pair. Don't get me wrong, Aaron Stevens and Eric Smalls, but not with blunt force trauma.
No,
thank you.
No.
Anyway. What else was on there? The Southern Six promo made me laugh, and they don't always make me laugh. They're getting better all the time. I'm pretty sure my sister used to have Kerry Morton sunglasses, but listen, like the bit, the bisexuality, and they all stared at him, the other two, and then went, yeah.
Yeah.
That was great. I laughed out loud, man. It was a great promo. These guys need a feud, don't they, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to give them opponents.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Knox and Murdoch are those guys because, like I keep saying, it's like my dad, my uncle are coming to beat up me and my friends when I'm a teenager. But anyway, let's just talk about the main event. Jax Dane versus EC3. The only thing I thought was missing, because it wasn't a bad match, was, as said earlier in the chat, much earlier, I think by Vincent, there's no build to this thing. It felt, regardless, like an important win day for EC3, just to say, oh, look, he took Jax Dane, but three bad, what are they called? 1%ers.
Yep.
Terrible. And, but otherwise, and like, nobody thought Jax Dane was going to come out because this wasn't a live match on top. And that's what kind of just made me go, oh, it was all right. What'd you think, Dave?
I mean, like you said, it was almost one of these things of, you can almost see it coming, what was going to happen. While I like Jax Dane, he seemed to, in certain times during the match, almost phone it in.
Yeah. But
it's one of these things of, I mean, he's been with NWA for years. And I mean, if EC3 getting a win over a former multi-champion in the NWA, it just raises his stock. Jax, to me, didn't lose much in losing that match. That if they decide to go back with him and Tim and do a tag team for Crockett Cup, I'm all for that.
Yeah, you know what else I liked? I'll ask you, Jeremy, if you dug the match too, but I liked the end with the handshake and the respectful hug. Yep. Like, for once, I don't hate you for beating me, and it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I liked the match. It like Dave said, Dane does not come out of this looking weak at all. If anything, he looks stronger to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of that had to do with the end, with the handshake and the hug. EC3 recognizing that you pushed me to my limits. So I think there's still some money to be made between those two.
I agree. Those were kind of my highlights or lowlights of the show. I'm super excited by what we're about to talk about right now, Jeremy, because Championship Wrestling from Jeremy focuses, of course, on the United Wrestling Network, and it's been quiet. And when it hasn't been quiet, it has been Memphis.
Yes.
It's Timmy Grind, dog.
Oh, no.
Anyway, they are returning on January 14th for a set of tapings. Let's hear about it in a segment we like to call Championship Wrestling from Jeremy.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
United we stand. The following is a presentation of the United Wrestling Network.
It's time for Championship Wrestling from Jeremy.
Jeremy, Jeremy, you have. Oh, I don't want to be the big. Here you go. You're in charge now. You have the return card rundown. The card that is being. I mean, it's bringing the UWN back.
Yes.
Tell us all about it.
So I received this from shout out to Daniel Hill for sending me this. Yeah. The United Wrestling Network will resume taping TV on January the 14th in Long Beach, California. After taping its Championship Wrestling weekly television program at the Irvine Improv for over a year, UWN will return to Infinite Reality Studios, formerly Thunder Studios, in Long Beach, California, for the January 14th taping and beyond. The Long Beach location was the home of UWN's weekly pay-per-view series, Primetime Live, during the pandemic. This time around, fans will be in attendance. The Irvine Improv will house non-televised UWN live events in upcoming months. The following is scheduled for the January 14th Long Beach taping. UWN World Champion Danny Limelight versus
friend of the show. Friend of the Alliance.
He faces off against Pretty Peter Avalon. This match celebrates the 15-year history of the United Wrestling Network, as Limelight, the longest reigning United Wrestling Network World Champion in history, takes on Avalon, who had the longest reign in the United Heritage Champion, was 672 days. Avalon also competed in the very first match in Championship Wrestling program history, taking on Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
We will also see Willie Mack versus Will All Damn Day.
Willie Mack versus Will All Day. I'm all about this.
I am so about this one. I got turned on to Will All Day through Reality of Wrestling.
Yeah.
Booker T's promotion with their annual Christmas show was the first time I caught that program. And that's where I got introduced to Will All Day, and I was completely blown away.
Yep.
We will also see outlandish Zicky Dice in action.
Yeah.
United World TV Champion Jack Banning will defend his title. We will see Jordan Cruz versus Judiz. When we last left off, they had started a little program with each other.
Solid talents.
We will see United World Wrestling Network Tag Team Champion Che Cabrera versus former UWN Tag Team Champion Flex McCallion. No beef candy, unfortunately. Beef candy! We will see J-Rod, Savannah Stone, Zyra, and more in women's division action. Evan Daniels versus Mikey O'Shea. UWN debut of Buck Skinner. In-ring return of Levi Shapiro. And I'm excited for that one too. Teaming with Wild West. Dylan Bostic will be in action, plus more. Former AEW TNT and Tag Team Champion Scorpio Sky will be on hand for a special meet and greet. Sky has a long history with UWN, where he held the UWN TV title multiple times.
Yep. Yeah, man.
Excited.
Levi Shapiro, by the way, do you remember before they went off the series of promos he was doing, kind of like from his apartment?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So good.
Levi is this little gem just tucked away, you know, in the back of a jewelry box, you know, but when you break it out, it just shines so bright.
Yeah, man, he's great. Dylan Bostic had that whole thing in Derby City too with Pope right before.
Yep.
Yeah, the end there as well. Well, not the end. They're back, but it feels like, how can we miss you if you don't go away? Now we've been missing them for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I say every week that if you're not watching UWN and all of its affiliated products, may you fail all your New Year's resolutions.
Oh, ouch. All of its associated products?
All of its associated products.
All of them?
All of them. If I suffer, we all suffer. For the Alliance.
Hey, join the Alliance. Here's something I found just before I went on the air. This is exciting. The most exciting thing, and I'm not being a jerk at all, for Memphis in some time. They got Hollywood Haley coming to Memphis January 28th. Yeah. I mean, whether you like her or not, that's like a fairly big name out of OVW right now.
And I got to agree with Mike as well. Memphis was pretty good last week.
Can you list them all without a prompt? I could, actually. Look, I can't watch it until it gets better. It's painful. My daughter watches it and she tells me all about it. That's the best that I can do. She writes things, says, okay, here's what happened.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And I'm really seriously looking forward to a return of the UWN. So thank you so much. It's time. It's time. It's Scooby time. Where the hell's your video? There we go.
So much.
All right, Scoob. Ooh. A lot of feedback there. What's up? Well, I'm going to shut up because I think my here we go. That seems to be better. I'll still shut up, but Scoob.
Yes.
I don't know that I have worded this in the way that perhaps I should have, but basically what needs to happen, in your opinion, possibly, to the two NWA TV titles with Max the Impaler and Big Strong Mims as this whole thing comes to a head? What do you think?
Well, it's been a couple weeks since NWA made the announcement that it was going to be a title for title match and there must be a winner. I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but in my eyes, what I would like to see happen is Max either gives up the TV title and just goes after Kinsey, because she already has the 7 wins to go after the Burke.
Yep.
Mims, we saw a little glint of, I don't know if I'd say evilness, but of Mims just playing the game and standing outside while the match finished with Dak Draper, that he didn't go back in to finish it. So there's a hint of him possibly being heelish at times, that I would have, like I said, Max just give up the TV title and have Father James Mitchell say, Max is turning this title in. Max already has the 7 wins. Max wants Kinsey at the next event, and it could be later that night. It could be the CCW, or it could be at the tapings the next day.
Right.
So it's one of these things that they throw the title down. Mims picks it up and does a Medusa and goes over and makes sure there's a trash can out there and just says, I have my title. I don't need this one, and just dumps it in the trash. Now, I'd have that happen in my eyes. I don't know what the NWA has planned, but I'd have Father James Mitchell. He already speaks for Max all the time. So if Max no shows and Mitchell just walks out there and hands in the title and then walks away, like I said, Mims trashes the title. Maybe have, I'd say, since she just lost this week, Miss Star finds the belt in the trash and tries to lay claim to the title. And in that, have her do several social media clips that they can run daily for possibly 5-6 days in a row of, I found this title, nobody else had it, so I guess I'm claiming it, and I'm the new the women's TV champion. You can call me Miss Star. The future's so bright, I gotta wear shades, blah, 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 her thing. And in that week, finally have either Billy or I'd like to see Pat Kenny play more of a role on TV.
Right.
That he is the talent coordinator, so have him come out and go, no. This title was given up. You didn't win it. Give me this title. I'll take into consideration and put you in a tournament. Then they could actually, at the tapings, do a full tournament. 8 matches, have 4 ladies from the NWA and 4 ladies from the territorial systems. You have 8 ladies, 7 matches. You could do one whole episode of this is the new women's territorial title. It's not a TV title, it's a territorial title that it can be defended on NWA, Exodus Pro, and also at JCP. That this way it brings recognition to your territories. Plus you can also bring in talent and have your talent go to the territory systems and have more of a connection with the NWA by having this title. It's already branded NWA, just rename it the TV territorial title or just the territorial title, women's territorial title. Let's see, have it done at the tapings. Now this would highlight both the talent in the NWA. I could see either maybe Tiffany winning or Markova. She's gone through hell. This would be her chance to win this title, defend it, get to 7, and then possibly go after the Burke, whoever holds the Burke at that time. But it keeps the story going, and whether Max goes after the Burke, because Max has won the 7 matches, it just makes Kenzie a stronger champion if Kenzie wins. And Kenzie has taken a beating from Max in the past. So it would be a comeuppance. It would be a payback. And I'm not sure what would happen. This is the only way I looked at things, that everybody is roughly safe, or at least 75% safe, that everybody moves up and down. The titles don't get merged or unified.
Yeah.
And the belt is still NWA, but it doesn't take up as much time on TV. It becomes a territorial belt. And it would bounce around to whether it be the regular territories, or if they have another CCW, or if they have another Boca Raton show, it's defended there. They have a showdown in Texas, it's defended there. That it'd be defended down in Alabama.
That's exciting.
So it's one of those things of it's a get around of somebody losing it, because Max doesn't need to win. Max already has, quote unquote, the golden ticket to go after the Burke.
Right.
And Mims would still be able to show a little of his, I'm sinister, I'm the brain, I don't need this title, I have my own title. And it goes back in history of Medusa dropping it in the trash can, and then also the hardcore title, finding that and pulling it out and making it into another championship.
Right.
So one of those things. It's just easy come, easy go. This is how I would book it to get out of the situation they have created, but I don't know what they have booked. I just know they have the match booked.
Right.
But I'm looking at it. It makes either Mims look weak if Mims loses, and it makes Mims look bad if Mims beats Max. Even though Max is non-binary, 75% of the people have no clue what non-binary is. They're just like, yeah, some guy beat up some chick and walked away with the title. So it's one of these things of here's something to get everybody over, sort of, without leaving a black eye on what could happen.
I think it's some great booking, and there's ways, like you say, that everyone comes out of this looking strong. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I think we'll find out what's gonna happen is not as good as that.
Yeah.
Like, I think what'll happen is Max the Impaler, probably through nefarious means of the Sinister Minister, merges those titles and becomes the first, CW champion, which I think is what you had. Maybe that's happened. The first television title for an intergender championship. I think that's probably what we're going to see happen. But like you said, back pocket got the shot at the Burke. So that's awesome. Lots of comments around here because I don't see a way that Mims takes this and ends up on top. Double count out or DQ to end it. I love the enhancement powder line. Future's so bright, they got to wear shades. Deep cut. Timbuk 3 reference by Scooby. Yeah. I met a couple girls the other day. I Buck 1 and Timbuk 2. Old Tim joke. Where is it? I like the idea, Fuzzy says, of the way the old territory system worked, where people kind of get rotated around. I think it's a great idea to have the title that way, as well. Great stuff, Scooby. What about if they really are wanting a unified belt? How can that be saved? Any thoughts? Next week, right? Next week.
I'd have to do some deep thinking on it. I mean, right off, it's depending on what way they're wanting to go, and if the wrestlers have a problem wrestling against Max.
Yeah, which I don't think that they probably will.
But I mean, it's like I've said before, 6 of one, half dozen of another. It's a toss of the coin of what could happen. They're going to do what they want to do. And who knows, it may be one of these things of maybe that's what CW wants. Maybe they want to identify with somebody outside of the lines. That they want to identify with somebody that is non-binary. Somebody that is that could bring attention to either the network or the TV show itself, Power.
And so, if you're, or just intergender wrestling.
Yeah.
And what's the better champion, really, than one who's non-binary as your first inaugural champion for intergender? Yeah. It just kind of makes sense on paper.
I mean, I've heard some people say, well, if Max is non-binary and doesn't identify as male or female, how can it be intergender? Well,
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And there's one person doing it, as my favorite NWA wrestler right now, but it's not a problem for me. That's amazing. I think that's probably the best. You've given this some thought. Look, that's probably the best way to move forward on this, and I appreciate it. Look, before we go, before we pitch the social stuff, that the media platforms that we go, I've done you might have noticed in the last couple of weeks, I'm changing up the way the office looks down here. And there's a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff that I don't think I need it anymore. It just kind of, sometimes you collect things and you just, a few years later, you go, I think maybe I'm done. Some of those things will be small, like that, and we're going to give some stuff away. But some of the things will be small. When I talk about like a loose action figure, I don't mean I'm going to go, hey, who wants a Hulk Hogan action figure? I'm talking like, who wants a Naoya Ogawa NWA World Champion wearing the belt? That I have this kind of stuff that will go away, right? I have 25 NWA World Champions with their belts, I think, for the most case, in a drawer down here. I got a couple belts, I think, that we're going to be giving away in the Alliance, not only for watching here, but with Jay's Numero Uno show, probably the pre-party as well, and just doing some stuff. And I'm going to start it off right now by letting you guys know that I think next week, maybe at latest the week after, the first thing I'm going to give away is this thing that's been in my background for a really long time. If you recognize this gentleman right here, I had this made. It's awesome. And I do love it, but I've had it a bunch of years now, and I don't really have anywhere in my home to hang it. So I think I'm going to give it away. So I'll figure that one out. I think I'm going to give it away next week, as I say, maybe the week after at the very latest. But it's cool, super cool. So just want to let you guys know. Let's do the thing, the social media. Where can they find you, Jeremy?
You can find me over on Twitter at HJWOTS and on Threads at Championship Wrestling Jeremy.
Excellent. Dave?
You can find me at Dave Scooby on X, aka Twitter, and Instagram, and at Dave Scooby1 on TikTok.
I am at the Alliance Gold, redoing and revamping and adding to the belt stuff slowly. I'll be back on Instagram soon, but on all the platforms I'm there. But most importantly, alliance-wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information around the National Wrestling Alliance. And also at the Alliance blog on all the social platforms, including a whole bunch that I'm not. Tomorrow night, J-Cal, Jaden, and DKM, whose real name, believe it or not, is Daisy Kill Mercer, will be on the show at 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, with the Alliance guys broadcast 15 years in one capacity or another. It's the Alliance has been on the air. We're like Jeremy said last week, like 3,000 or like this close right now, just on YouTube alone. So proud to be part of this. And then, of course, J-Cal, the pre-party that hour before Power every week. I didn't get to see it this week, but he had our friend Fee on.
Yep.
I hope it went super well. Did you guys watch it? Hey, he made it. I made it. And we're just going off the air. How did it go with Fiona? I'm sure it was great.
It went very well.
Good. We're proud to be here, man. So they're on tomorrow. What am I doing here? What else have we got? The views expressed by Jade and DKM on that show are their views alone, or so our solicitors have instructed us to tell you. But until next time, we thank you for being here, and we'll see you at the matches.
Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The Alliance.